Hello, everyone. This is Gail Dudley with your news in motion. Today is Friday. It's Anything Goes Day. We're going to have questions and answers, but it is August the 7th. So let's get started. Real quick, let me give you a quick rundown of the news. We have Governor DeWine. One moment he tested positive, the next moment he tested negative. So the question is, what is it? Is it that his tests are positive, or is it that his tests are negative? There's a lot of speculation out there. I don't want to get on that bandwagon. I don't know. I will say if he does have the coronavirus, that we need to lift him up in prayer. If he doesn't have the coronavirus, then we just need to celebrate the fact that he does not have the coronavirus. But yes, that sent the news media into a tizzy around 10 p.m. Eastern time on last evening, trying to figure out if he has the virus or if he does not have the virus. So again, I don't have the answer for that. Late yesterday, the occupant of the Oval, good morning, Angela. Let's go cause, yeah, right. Yesterday, y'all, the news was just popping yesterday. I mean, it was popping. So we have Governor DeWine, got two tests here. Next, we have the occupant of the Oval who signed the executive order, the one that he threatened to sign last Friday. He signed an executive order. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Kim. He signed the executive order for TikTok. He was like, I'm banning this baby. So 45 days from today, TikTok will be no more. And that's very interesting because from the looks of things, hello, I love all of you coming in. Yay. From the looks of it, do me a favor, y'all, share this, start a watch party to bring people in as well, because I got a lot of information I'm sharing with all of you. Last evening, it showed that the registration for millennials went up once again. So he did sign the executive order to ban TikTok, and the millennials are speaking back by registering to vote. Is that a reason why? It could be one of the reasons why. I'm just glad that they're registering. So that's happening. So in 45 days, TikTok will be banned in the U.S. So that's happening. All right, y'all, we got to give it up for Sister Girl AG, the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. She told the NRA, we suing you, and we're seeking to dissolve you. She called out all four of the gentlemen, she called them out by name and talked about that they're pocketing the money. So that's happening. That is happening. And then there's still no relief package, y'all. There's still no relief package. It's been 1 week. And there's still no relief package. They cannot come to any sort of agreement. They want a $1.75 billion FBI headquarters in the package. And they also want $377 million for a West Wing renovation, but they have not determined a package for over 30 million. It's now over 30 million Americans who they have been furloughed, they've lost their job, they've lost their health insurance, they don't have food. There's a thing now called food insecurity. There's a lot that's going on. So we got to continue to understand why we must raise our voices, why we must get involved within our communities, and why we must vote. So let me start off with the coronavirus numbers. The World Health Organization is where I get my numbers. Y'all, this is the 6-month mark. We have now crossed over by the World Health Association. Again, I cannot tell you why other media do not pull from those numbers. They're pulling from the CDC numbers, and the CDC numbers are lagging behind the World Health Organization. But I go directly to the World Health Organization. As of yesterday, as of midnight, the World Health Organization says that the U.S. is at 5 million. 5 million, everyone. 5,032,179 cases. We are at the 6-month mark. 162,804 deaths. 2,576,668 recovered. So we should celebrate that. In the last 24 hours, there are 58,611 new cases. There are at least 1,203 coronavirus deaths. As seen in New York Times, with only 4% of the world's population, the U.S. has accounted for 22% of the coronavirus deaths. Let that sink in. With only 4% of the world's population, the U.S. has accounted for 22% of the coronavirus deaths. Over the past month, there's 1.9 million Americans have tested positive for the virus in the last month. The Center for Public Integrity says that we have several cities that are on what they're calling the uptick. That's Atlanta. Atlanta can't seem to get this together. Baltimore is now on the list. Kansas City, Portland, Omaha, Central Valley of California, Boston, Chicago, Detroit, and Washington, D.C. That's happening, y'all. That's happening. That's a lot. So let's get to the questions. Now, y'all know questions may go a little longer today. I'm trying to get this back down to 10 minutes, but it's not happening. So if you have to go, you can always hit the replay, but hopefully you'll stay. And I'll get through as many questions as I can. Okay, got to start with the softball question first. It says, I came across your videos this week. Thank you for the information. Anyone can notice your passion and that you are authentic. Thank you for checking them out. Then they go on to say, what are your plans beyond the election? My entire family now watch. We would hate to see you in News in Motion. We actually sit down at the kitchen table. We watch this on our flat screen, and then we go to the regular news. But once we get to the regular news, we've already heard it from you. So what are my plans beyond the election? If God says I should continue this, I have every plan to continue News in Motion. Then it will be more of how do we community organize? How do we go forward? How do we hold our representatives accountable? This is a ministry for me, and I'm enjoying every last moment of it. I'm here to give you the truth. We get sound bites on news. I'm hitting them one way or another. They have so many seconds to produce what they're producing. I try to identify a few areas that I think we need to have information, and I want to give you that information. I don't want to quit. As long as God says I can keep going, I'm going to keep going. So that's my plans. That's my plans. But I'm reminded that, I may make plans, but it's the Lord that orders my steps, and I'm going to trust that He's going to order my steps in this direction because I know God sees my passion. He already ordained me and called me to this a long time ago. The next question, again, though, thank you for checking it out and hanging out with me. The next question, why didn't the occupant of the Oval attend the service for the legend John Lewis? Great question. And he answered that himself on an interview that he had with Axio with Jonathan Swan. He said, and I quote, he didn't come to my inauguration. He didn't come to my State of the Union speeches. So that's why he did not go to the funeral services for John Lewis. He said it himself. He didn't come to my inauguration. He didn't come to my State of the Union speeches. Kindergarten, right? Okay. What's up with Kanye West? I don't know what's up with Kanye West. Excuse me. And the question says, do you think he's in cahoots with the occupant of the Oval? I feel it's a distraction to keep some people, especially blacks, from voting for Biden. Well, I was looking at different things. I know John Legend put out several tweets yesterday. They are friends, and he was just speaking, to have our eyes wide open. John Legend was very, very careful how he responded. But when you look at all the talks about what's on the table, as seen in Forbes yesterday, this was in Forbes.com, and I'm going to read this directly that came out of Forbes. When it was pointed out that he actually can't win in 2020, talking about when it was pointed out to Kanye West that he actually can't win in 2020, that he won't be on enough ballots to yield 270 electoral votes, and that a write-in campaign isn't feasible, they said, you can't do anything. And Kanye West responded back, and this is a quote, I'm not going to argue with you. And then he goes on to say, Jesus is king. So I don't know what that is. I do know from several sources that he removed his name from different ballots, one being New Jersey and one being Wisconsin, although there's other news reports that saying he added his name to the ballot in Wisconsin, found his name in the one for Wisconsin. This is the last week for Wisconsin, Ohio, so I don't know. All right, Kanye goes on to say that he is designing a school within the next month and that he's meeting with Betsy DeVos about post-COVID curriculum. So I don't know what's happening. But I do want to say this, and I want to say this carefully, and I think it's so important to say this. He can't win, okay? He can't win. And I will never tell any of you who to vote for. That's not my job. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give the information. He can't win. He can't hit 270. So you do have to ask the question, then what's the point? Now, we want millennials to vote. We want them to use their voices. We want them to say what they want to say. We want them to exercise their civic duty. We want that. We want everyone to exercise their civic duty, without a doubt. But we have to make sense of voting. And in order to make sense of voting, we have to say, okay, who is the person to win the White House? What does that look like? You have to remove the names if you have to. Remove the occupant of the Oval and remove Joe Biden. Just remove their names and say, okay, healthcare. What do I need and what do I want for healthcare? And then go to their platform and look at it and make a determination. Then go to foreign policy. Go to unemployment. Go to education. Go to every area. I talked about healthcare. Go to tax. Go to the economy. Go to every area and ask the question, okay, who is really speaking to me? And then vote for that person. Go through what's been happening over the last 4 years and ask yourself, is this what I want? And if that's what you want, then you vote for that person. If you look at this person and say, is that what I want? And you're like, oh no, I don't want that. Then you don't vote for that person. And we always say, and this is what happened in 2016. All right, who's the lesser of the two evils? You have to make up your mind and make a vote. And it's more than that. You also have to remember there are 3 chambers. There are 3 areas at the top, y'all. There are three. And then you have to understand who writes the laws. You know, we're going to go over that later. That's why I'm going to do a podcast starting September. But we're going to spend designated time talking about that. Yeah, I love this. Can y'all tell? I am passionate about it. But I get upset sometimes. And I talk to millennials. I have 2 millennial children. I talk to millennials and I say, okay, what's up? Everybody don't like Joe Biden. Okay, do you like the other person? You got a choice. You have a choice. So where are you going to go? Do you want to continue to live in what we're living in, or do you want something different? And I'll say this here, and I hope I'm not going to get to all these questions, so we'll take them over to next week. But I'll say this here. I have been saying, okay, Joe Biden, if he would just come out and say, not only is this my vice president, this is the person I'm going to put on Supreme Court. This is the person I'm going to put over education. This is the person I'm going to put over Secretary of Defense. This is the person I'm going to name my chief of staff. If he came out with a slate and we were able to see the entire slate, I think he would hush everybody else. But I'm not his political advisor. I'm not his political consultant. I'm not his political strategist. But that's how, if he would come out during the convention and name his entire slate, if he would just come out and name his entire slate, can you imagine? That would just hush everybody. So that's where I'm at with this. All right, I got some more questions. I see some popping in too. So if I don't catch them here, we'll catch them throughout next week. This one question said, if you voted in the May Ohio, so this is Ohio primary, how do you track your mail-in ballot to know if it was counted? All right, I went through and made sure this was correct for every state. This question came from Ohio, but I went to check and make sure it happened with every state. In Ohio, you would go to franklincounty.ohio.net/voter. I'll put these links in the comment section. That's Ohio. I went to Pennsylvania to see if it's the same thing. And Pennsylvania says you go to www.pavoterservices.pa.gov/pages/ballot tracking. Again, I'll put all of those in the comment section. Kentucky, the same thing. So with all of these wherever you are, you can go to the websites. Just Google track my ballot and put in your state, and that will pull up, and you'll put in your information, and it will let you know that your ballot has arrived. So if you're questioning if your ballot made it during the primary, that's how you do it. That's how you can also do it going forward. All right, number 5. Why is it taking so long for me to receive my absentee ballot? Yeah, well, I did some digging, and I'm reading that it's taking up to 20 to 30 days to receive your application due to the pandemic and due to many people working remotely. I'm also wanted to put out here again, y'all know the mail has purposely slowed. So that's happening too. The mail has slowed. So that's happening. Now, it did say, I'm seeing several places, y'all, so y'all, we got to be smart. We have to be smart. They're saying do not keep requesting your application because that will mess up your system. That will mess up like you're getting one too many applications. So y'all be aware. If you've requested one and it's been 10 days, give it 10 more days. The next step is to call them. Don't request another one. Don't request another one because they'll flag you. Call them and say, I requested my application on such and such a date. It has not come in yet. What do I do? Another thing that I was reading is to go pick it up, to go pick up your absentee ballot. So, y'all, this is probably the most important election of my lifetime, the most important of my lifetime, of my voting lifetime. We have to be smart. We have to use wisdom before we do a lot of the things that we're trying to do. The next question says, what's an update with student debt being canceled? I looked on several sources. I came across Forbes where it talks about student loans, cancel student debt loan. And what's coming up is that there was a petition by former presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren that there's now 1.2 million signatures to get that canceled and then to cancel student debt in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. They're still trying to push that forward. It's not on the floor at this time. They're still trying to put some sort of legislation together, but that's there. But I can share with you with the relief package having expired, student loans for those who were not paying their student loans over the last 4 to 5 months, they're going to come due September. So be mindful of that until another relief package comes forward. So you want to follow that. Don't let it go into default. So stay on top of that. All right, I have a friend who likes to just throw me curveballs, love her dearly. She asked the question, how are Ohio school districts going to record attendance for Q1? Latrice Jones. Well, if you go to education.ohio.gov, I did find just a little bit of information. It talks about House Bill 197 provides schools the ability to use remote learning hours towards minimum instructional hour requirement. And then it kind of went gray. So I don't have a sound answer for you, but to my understanding is when you log in. But for me, my question is, how many of the students have their Chromebooks? And I'm not just talking Ohio or in Columbus. I'm talking everywhere throughout the U.S. How is that going to be recorded? And we need to stay on top of that. Even if your children are grown or you do not have any children, we all need to use our voices collectively to make sure that these students are not being left behind, that the students are being counted, that the students are engaging, that the students are continuing to learn and grow, that the students are continuing to move forward. We also need to support the teachers. We also need to support the teachers, the administrators, everyone. This is a collective effort. All right, the next question. Can groups of people sign up together as poll workers? Yes, you can. You have to, let me say this, you have to individually sign up with the EAC.gov, and that's EAC.gov, and that stands for the Election Assistant Commission.gov. You sign up, and then there's another place where it will ask you, are you doing this collectively with the group? There are a lot of students, y'all, college students that are signing up. Thank you for those who answered the call for Wisconsin. I told you the other day that they were needing 900 poll workers. Well, they had about 140 register, but then you had some other older people resign. So we're still at that number, but they did have about 100 and something register through the week. Ohio has now put out that they need poll workers. The state of Maryland has put out they need poll workers. This is going into the November 3rd election. Georgia has stated that they need poll workers. California has stated that they need poll workers. So y'all, poll workers are needed everywhere. Everywhere. I'm signing up. Y'all, I'm signing up. Yep, I'm signing. I think a group of us should sign up and go work it in the hood. Yes, seriously. We need to sign up, y'all. This can be just a great day on November the 3rd. Usually I'm taking donuts and coffee. I'm gonna go work the polls. Let's sign up to do that. I think that would be great. Again, you can go to eac.gov. There is a stipend. You do receive a stipend. Most places are saying like $130. I know a couple days ago someone posted on the thread $110 to $130. Some are paying for the training, which is about an average of $50, and some are also paying for mileage, so from your home to the polling location. But you know what? Even if you don't receive a pay, just let's exercise our civic duty and show up and step in. As a community, we need to now take the places of those who are 70 and 80 years old who have been doing it faithfully for years. My grandmother was a poll worker. She was a poll worker and she loved it and she got decked out. My grandmother, she's deceased now, but she would get like in her dress, in her pantyhose, which I don't wear, in her high heels, in her pearls. She was a proud poll worker going in there to work the polls. So I'm thinking about her and I'm going to do it this year in her honor. I'm going to get dressed too, not my jeans, but I'm going to get dressed and show up and work one of the polls. So I'm registering as well. There are more questions, but y'all, we're running out of time. So I'm going to bring these rest of the questions to next week for the win. And I see her, Angela Isaiah, for the win. She signed up to be a poll worker the other day after checking out the video. So, hey, for the win, I'm telling y'all, one person, if I can get to one person, it's worth it. And so for the win, there were 29 people who reported in that they registered in the last week. And that's just from watching this video, registered to vote. So for the win, they get the win. And also there have been 11 of you who signed up to be poll workers since Wednesday. So I am excited. I'm so excited. So excited. So my inspirational message for today, inspirational message for today is to operate in joy. Find joy somewhere in your life. Find joy. Find joy. Tap into the joy in your life. It will make a difference in your life in everything that you do. I know there's hard times coming our way. There are things that are driving us crazy. There are things that's causing us distress. Even former First Lady Michelle Obama talked about having a low-grade depression. Well, y'all, we got to tap into joy. Jesus is the joy of my life. So when I feel down, when I feel out, when I feel as if I'm struggling, I tap into what the Lord says to me. The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Y'all know I'm a believer. This is my ministry. This is what I'm doing in this season for ministry, and I'm tapping into joy. Yesterday, I thought my head was going to just spin with all of the news coming from every which way. And if you looked at my wall, I had a meme of a young lady eating popcorn, just like what's happening next. That's how the news was coming. But at a certain point, I had to step back and say, okay, self-care, because there's a lot coming at me. Self-care. And I had to tap into my joy. I said, okay, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I went to the television looking for, I think it ended up on Hulu, and watched some of the Nanny. I don't know if y'all remember that show a while ago, The Nanny. And I just watched it and laughed. Then I went to Designing Women on Hulu and laughed some more. Just to breathe. I also watched, y'all may think it's ignorant, but it made me laugh. I also watched Martin yesterday. I found something that was going to allow me a space to laugh. I just started laughing. I started thinking about Jesus. And I said, yep, he's probably laughing with me. We have to operate in our joy. We have to tap into our joy. That's what's going to keep us going. I have 3 things for you, and I'm off of here. Number 1, if you are not registered to vote, I am begging you to register to vote, y'all. October the 5th. October the 5th is the last day to register to vote to be able to vote in the November 3rd election. Understanding that in this pandemic, different states have different dates. That kind of rhyme. Different states have different dates. So you need to check your Secretary of State's office. If you don't know what the Secretary of State's office website is, just Google Secretary of State for Maryland, Secretary of State for Ohio, Secretary of State for Pennsylvania, Secretary of State for Georgia. Just Google it, and then in the search bar, put in what's the last day to register to vote. Okay? So number 1, register to vote. Number 2, register to be a poll worker. Register to be a poll worker. Yes, I'm begging you. Register to be a poll worker. If we do not have enough poll workers, they will close locations. And come on, y'all, let's be smart. We know where they're going to close. We know where they're going to close, to where the people cannot get to across the town to vote. If you're going to ask for your absentee ballot, don't wait. Ask for it today, y'all. They are intentionally slowing the mail. Ask for your application for absentee ballot today. Don't wait. The 3rd thing I need you to do is to complete the census if you have not already done so. I shared with you earlier this week that they are undercounting and they're going to immediately stop the census at the end of this month. When they had asked for an extension, they changed their mind. They're stopping at the end of this month. And there are 6 categories that have not been counted. Let me see if I can remember those. Those that are in a homeless shelter, the poor, the marginalized, minorities, those who move often, and those who are hard to find. Those are the 6 categories. They have not counted those groups yet. It is important. Without being counted, that's where they will slash federal funding, and they will mess around with the congressional map and the congressional seats. We don't need that for a decade, because that will stay in place for a decade. For a decade. That's 10 years, a decade. We don't want that. We don't need that at all. So make sure. So you also, if you've done it, ask your neighbors if they've done it. Ask your friends if they have done it. Go to the millennials who live alone or with 3 or 4 people in an apartment. Ask them if they have done it. One person can go in there and count everyone within that in their apartment. Yo, we have to do that. So that's a whole lot, y'all. That's a whole lot. Oh, DJ. Y'all love these? Y'all love these? I love them. She's a Black-owned business called Twisted Diva. And I think the other name is Salon Art. DJ Miller. She handcrafts all of these. Can y'all see these? She handcrafts all of these. So want to give her a shout out. Please support her. We will put her information in the comment section as well. I think that's all, y'all. It's weekend time for all of us. You all be safe. You all be safe. Again, with Governor DeWine, if he has it, we're going to pray his healing. If he doesn't have it, we're going to celebrate. All I know is it's very confusing. So with that, social distance. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Please do that. Write your own narrative for your health. Write your own narrative for your health. I am Gail Dudley, and I love what I do. Thank you all for joining me. Send me some love by sharing this. Send me some love by getting people to register to vote. And the person who's working with me, yep, I had that question too, so I'll answer that real quick. I have a team of people. I have some interns who are working with me, and I have some who are dead serious about if I don't start saying that you can cash at me, send me a Zelle, or send me a check, that they're going to just come, they're going to fly into Ohio, beat me up, and go back. So I know she's watching, so I'm saying that that's the hardest thing to do. I cannot do that, but I'm doing it. So yeah, I have to do that. So I do have a team, a lot of interns who are working with me, who they just love me. So, but yeah, so this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm doing. So if you want to send some love, you want to keep me doing this, you want to keep me researching it, feel free to do it, to send it to my Cash App, which is the $ M as in Mary, M as in Mary, Today, TODAY. If you want to send a Zelle, just DM me. I'll send you my phone number. I just don't want to put that on live. Or you can send a check if you want that as well. I'll put that address in the comment section. But thank y'all for hanging out with me. Now I got to go do IG. They're going to get the short version. But I'm headed over to IG. So peace out. Have a great weekend. Until Monday, I am Gail Dudley with your News in Motion. Oh, October the 5th, y'all. Do not forget October the 5th. It's the last day to register to vote, to be able to vote in the November 3rd election. And with saying that, check your state for their date, because dates are changing. Sign up to be a poll worker and complete your 2020 census. I am Gail Dudley. Peace out.